In this video, we'll take a look at recommendations for the AI PC of your dreams for Premiere Pro and also for Generative AI. Now, for Premiere Pro, starting with Adobe's wonderful Premiere Pro, there are a lot of features that now do benefit from using AI inside of Premiere Pro. One of the features which I really like is the ability to automatically create transcripts inside of Premiere Pro. And once you've got these transcripts, you can navigate the entire video using the transcript. So you can actually do a search for a particular term that you know is used in the video, and then you can go ahead and just find that particular part of the video. You can also create captions, as you can see here, and the captions, again, you can navigate using the captions. This is a huge time saver when it comes to editing. It's also a huge time saver to captioning. The AI relies mainly on the GPU, but it also wants a fast CPU. If you can have one of those, you can survive without a fast CPU, but a fast CPU is also very useful for AI. The transcript, once it's created, is one of the most useful things for editing. It really transforms the editing experience. You can search and replace where a particular kind of pause has happened. So you can actually filter by things like filler words, ums and ers, and you can delete those automatically. It's a really useful feature. You want to do this as soon as you import the video. And sometimes when I'm doing courses, I'm importing 30 videos at a time. I want this to run very fast so I can get to editing pretty quickly. So I do want to have the most powerful system possible, and we'll have some hard recommendations coming through fairly soon. And the features that use AI inside of Premiere Pro, they are increasing at an accelerating rate. One new feature that has just been added is the ability to search similar frames from the context menu in the program monitor. So you can find videos that have similar frames. You can collect those and group those all together in the same bin. Really, really useful features, time saving, things that allow us to do things that we would not have been able to do before. And when it comes to generative AI, using software like ComfyUI and things like stable diffusion models like the Flux models, we can create amazing images, high resolution. And this requires, for the most part, a really powerful graphics card. That is the unescapable reality today. But you also want a more powerful system as well, because some of the generative AI models are so large that they will not sit inside the most powerful desktop graphics card. You need more. So you need a powerful system as well. And you can then do graphics, or you can use large language models for your local device. That is also possible. And obviously software like Premiere Pro. So the first recommendation is going to be for graphics card. We start with a recommendation for the RTX 5060 Ti 16GB. This is a card that comes in under $500. It has a limited memory bandwidth, but it has got 16GB of RAM, and it will give you a lot of freedom, whether you're doing video editing or whether you are doing generative AI. Now, if you're working with much larger models than this, there is the RTX 5090, but we're talking about 4 times the price, maybe 5 times the price. We'll take a look at what's available in between. The 5070 Ti 16GB it gives you that 16GB of RAM, and it also gives you a really powerful memory. So the memory is fast and you have a large memory bandwidth. But undoubtedly the most powerful of the gaming GeForce cards is the 5090. This is now upgraded to 32 gigs of RAM, and we're getting this for about 2,000 to 2,500 in the United Kingdom. Some of the more luxury end of the graphics cards, like the Supreme Liquid, the liquid cooled one, $26.99. The availability is reasonably good for the time being, and I think the prices are just above MSRP in the United Kingdom. And we've also started to see the appearance of external or specialist 5090s like the 5090. This gigabyte one that gives you access to the 5090, you need probably a Thunderbolt connection to use this one effectively, and it allows you basically to connect up to the back of the box, and that will act as your RTX 5090 3000. If you haven't got enough space inside your PC, you don't want to build a new PC, something like this, an external GPU is the solution. These are available now, but availability does tend to be somewhat tenuous. As you can see, this one has a delivery date of 3 to 7 months. When it comes to CPUs, the AMD Ryzen 9 9000 series are probably the most powerful around, and you get two varieties of these. You get the X variants. Well, there's another variant as well, but you also get the X3D variants. Now, the X3D variants tend to be used in gaming. They're popular in gaming. They tend to be a little bit more expensive. 9900X is probably the second most powerful, and then you get the 9950X, which is the most powerful. These ones are fantastic if you're doing video editing. When it comes to generative AI, they are good for removing certain bottlenecks. But if you were to go for a Ryzen 7 or even a Ryzen 5, that would actually work. You can go for a much less expensive CPU that will work fine for generative AI. It will maybe struggle a little bit when you're doing video editing. But for generative AI, the CPU is not the most important thing. The GPU is far more important. Intel have brought out what they call the Core Ultra. These replace the old Core i9s and Core i7. The most powerful one, the Core Ultra 9. This one at $509, and they're not quite as powerful for AI as the AMD ones, but you do find, generally speaking, the AMD ones are a little bit more expensive. They're worth a little bit more for AI, but the Intel ones are ones that now have what's known as an NPU. The neural processing unit over time will become important to software developers because it allows them to accelerate AI features. When it comes to RAM is important. I've generally speaking recommended about 64 gigs of RAM for generative AI as a starting point. And for editing inside of Premiere Pro, 64 is usually going to be good. Sometimes you may want a little bit more than 64 in After Effects. After Effects can require a lot of RAM, but if you're doing Premiere Pro, 64 can be good. As we can see, DDR5 memory is now at $500 for 64 gigs of RAM, and with much smaller amount for 64 gigs of RAM at DDR4. Now, if you're using generative AI, I have recommended 96 to 128 gigs of RAM, and especially if you're doing training, that is good. That is a good amount to start off with. For Adobe, you're very unlikely to get to 128. Maybe After Effects might require that. As you can see, under $700, there's currently no DDR5 under $700 for 128 kit. This one here, this 64 gig kit for DDR4 would come in under $700 if you bought two of those for 128 gigs. In the United Kingdom, you can get 128 gigs of DDR5 RAM for under £400. This is good at any time of the last 4 years, basically. That's a good price, but the price is fluctuating insanely, which is what happens typically before a shortage. You're in the United States, there is this page here which contains most of the RTX 5090s. You'll find prices a little bit higher than in the UK, but there has been a jump in price since June, and there's been an increase in the number of items that are no longer available. So I'm not sure what's causing that, but prices do seem to be a little bit higher in the United States. This page here starts off at around, I would say around $2,399 for the RTX 5090. And I'll link to this if you're in the United States, and there are also some other recommendations for hardware on this page. When it comes to storage, we want to get something like a 2 terabyte NVMe. This will give us a lot of storage for Premiere Pro. For generative AI, you'll find that you probably want to upgrade after a while, and it may be quite a lot sooner than you realize that you want more of this sort of fast space. If you're doing training and you're going to be accessing a lot of data sets, go for 4 terabytes. That's your starting point. And the training probably relies more heavily on having an NVMe than actual inferencing. So for storage, the NVMe drive is going to be used for the most important data, the one that you want to access right now. When it comes to long-term storage, you can go for a hard drive, and something like this WD 16 terabyte Elements hard drive will give you strong performance over USB. It's USB 3.0 compatible, pretty decent speeds. It's not quite as fast as an SSD drive, but you can increase the amount of storage that you have over USB if you need to over time. But starting off with a good 16 terabyte or whatever is affordable for you hard drive is a very good idea for generative AI, because the models will take up quite a lot of space.